Hi everybody, it's Kendrick from Providence. I am going to be giving you all a full moon in Pisces reading, right? Sort of like a collective type of thing. I'm going to read some literature from the Astrologer's Handbook, which I love so much. I think that it was published in 1973. I'm not sure if I'm completely right about that. I think it is 1973. But I'm going to read a couple of things. Let's go ahead and get started. Let's start with the moon being in Pisces, or the moon being in the 12th house. I'll read both of those. This full moon, I believe, is happening at the 10th degree of Pisces, which is actually the beginning of the second decan of Pisces. And also the second decan of Pisces is ruled by the moon. So we're very intuitive here. We're very much in the emotional plane, on the emotional wavelength, that type of thing. And it's mutable energy, right? So it's talking about having to adjust, also sort of like having to cope with some things. Pisces is talking about healing. The moon is talking about healing. So we could be bringing some focus to like different aspects of that, like sleep. What else would be healing? Like emotional healing, that type of thing. Meditating, right? Dreaming, that type of thing. Also, Pisces rules the feet, you know. And if we're thinking in Vedic astrology, we would be talking about Aquarius, which is like the ankles. So we could be around that region. I know I'm having some foot issues like ankle and feet just because I use them a lot. Been trying to get some extra sleep for sure. Been thinking about the sequencing of things in my daily life, which is more of a Virgo type of thing. You know, because you have to have a sequencing in your daily life to create some patterns, right? So that you can be measured and tactful, okay? And then once you're measured and tactful and you've kind of created this pattern or these sequences that you can rely on, but you can adjust yourself because you're so used to it, right? So it's becoming used to something through creating those patterns. And within that, you know, if anything happens that's unexpected, mutable, right? You can kind of like go with the flow, if you will. And Virgo in esoteric astrology on a soul level is ruled by the moon. And we all know that in tarot, the moon is number 18. That 1 and that 8 added together reduces to a 9, which goes back to the Hermit, which is talking about inner discovery, spiritual discovery, having epiphanies, learning things about yourself as you go through the journey of life. You know, as the moon learns as it goes through the journey of each sign in the sky. So now the moon has gone through a complete journey because now it's in the last sign, you know, in the zodiac for us. And that would be Pisces. So it's talking about endings, and it's talking about healing from endings, okay? And it also is talking about what we know that exists inside that no one else knows, right? And that could be intuition, okay? Also empathy, feelings of empathy, and great compassion, you know, for whatever it is. It could be animals, it could be the human experience, it could be compassion for, you know, animals, that type of thing, right? Venus is exalted in Pisces where the moon is right now. Or the moon actually is in Aquarius. The moon will be in Pisces tomorrow. It's kind of like in the last degrees of Aquarius right now. Virgo rules in the small intestines, I believe. Let's just say intestines, right? And the moon is the belly, okay? And it talks about what we take in, what we feed ourselves with, right? What we might be opening ourselves up to, receiving. Are we receiving too many things? Are we absorbing too many things? Are we being affected emotionally by too many things? What can we adjust so that we can control? Pluto is the esoteric ruler of Pisces. How things affect us, right? So it's this constant sequence or pattern that we have to get used to of healing, in the moment, or trying to nurture certain aspects or nurture our triggering moments, bring some sense of calm, resolution, pacify the triggers, right? Okay, so let me go ahead and look in the astrologer's handbook. So let's look at the moon here. This is the hard copy because I love it so much I just had to get one that I could put on a shelf. All right. Bear with me, please. All right, here we go. We're going to get to it. Moon in Pisces. Let's go with that. The moon in the sign Pisces indicates a supersensitive emotional nature which acts like a psychic sponge, soaking up the thoughts and emotions of others. This extreme impressionability on the unconscious level makes the person feel psychologically vulnerable, with the result that he withdraws into seclusion to protect himself emotionally. I've definitely been feeling like that. I've been feeling like spending a lot of time with myself, but naturally because my son is in my 12th house. I see you out there. If you know what I mean. Okay? There are strong psychic and mediumistic tendencies, but without consideration of other factors in the chart, there can be no guarantee that impressions received are reliable, right? So we're trying to pacify those emotional triggers that lead us to thinking and being inspired, right? Because Mercury is at play here because the sun is in Virgo right now. Okay? And Virgo is inspiration, and Pisces is inspiration, and so is the moon. So these could be hidden inspirations, or these could be how, those voices in your head that lead you to think something is real that actually isn't. People with this position have a vivid imagination which can result in poetic, musical, or artistic output. Very important. They are generally kind and sympathetic because of their sensitivity to the feelings of others. However, they can be easily hurt and may develop a persecution complex. If the moon is afflicted in Pisces, there can be neurotic or psychotic tendencies and irrational dominance by the unconscious mind. In some cases, excessive shyness is indicated. So the excessive shyness can lead you to not express that passionate, creative side, I guess I would say. So it's being kind of scared or a little bit emotionally skittish, right? Not knowing what to expect or how things will be received. Yeah? Because we know how we receive things so much and in so many ways, because we know that we are emotionally affected and emotionally triggered by so many things, so many thoughts that we have bring about emotional triggers, which is very powerful. Pluto, the judgment card, is 20. That's a 2. Going back to the High Priestess. Now let's look at Moon in the 12th house, which is going to be similar. This position of the moon indicates that the moods and emotional responses are strongly affected by the unconscious and by past experiences. Moon. Psychic and intuitive leanings can be manifest. Extreme emotional sensitivity combined with reluctance to communicate feelings can result in shyness and easily hurt feelings. If the moon is afflicted, there can be neurotic tendencies and loneliness. If heavily afflicted, institutionalization and confinement because of mental illness. Hypnosis can be a danger with this moon position. If the moon rules the 5th, 7th, or 8th houses or strongly aspects Venus or the ruler of the 5th house, there may be secret love affairs. So, if the moon rules the 5th, so let's say if you have Cancer in the 5th house, that would mean that you would have Pisces in the 1st house. So you would be a Pisces rising, okay? Or if you have moon in the 7th house, which might be moon in Libra, okay? Or if the moon rules the 7th house, which would mean that you would be a Capricorn rising, okay? Or if the moon rules the 8th house, which means you would be is that a Scorpio rising? So Scorpio, no. If the moon rules the 8th house, let's say that means, yeah, that would mean that you would be a Scorpio rising, right? Scorpio, Sag, Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer. No, I'm sorry. Maybe that would mean that you would be what is that? Okay, so if Cancer is the 7th house, then that would mean that Capricorn would be the 1st house. So sorry, Sag would be your rising if the moon rules your 8th house, okay? Or you could be the opposite of those signs if you are if your houses are somehow swapped or flipped. And that would be very specific. I'm not going to get into that. But it says, if the moon rules the 5th, 7th, or 8th houses, or strongly aspects Venus or the ruler of the 5th house, there may be secret love affairs, like I said before. So, yeah, that's moon in Pisces and moon in the 12th house. So, let's look at the moon in Virgo, because that's where the new moon is going to be at 25 degrees of Virgo on September 17th. 25 degrees of Virgo is the 3rd decanate of Virgo, okay? And that would mean that the 1st decanate of Virgo is ruled by Mercury. The 2nd decanate of Virgo is ruled by Saturn, because after Mercury being in Virgo, the next earth sign is Capricorn, and Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. So that's the 2nd earth sign after Virgo being ruled by Saturn. So the 2nd decanate of Virgo is ruled by Saturn. So what sign have I not mentioned? Taurus, which is 3rd after Virgo if we look at Virgo as being the 1st, right? So Taurus is ruled by Venus. So that 3rd decanate of Virgo, where the new moon in Virgo is going to be on September 17th at 25 degrees of Virgo, is going to be kind of influenced by Venus in a great deal. Yeah. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into these. Did I read that? I haven't read it yet. Oh my God, here we go. The moon in Virgo. The moon in the sign Virgo indicates an exacting, hard-working, practical nature. There is great regard for neatness and cleanliness in personal hygiene and housekeeping. Didn't I mention Venus? These people are particularly about food and diet and concerned about health. Because Mercury is like fitness and the lungs, respiratory, if we think about Gemini and all of that. Also, these people are particularly about food and diet and are concerned about health. They are good cooks, but health is as important to them as taste. Natives with the moon in this sign are usually shy and retiring, preferring to work quietly behind the scenes. They pay attention to detail. They wish to serve. They do not ask personal questions unless necessary. They are curious, but in relation only to their work or practical affairs. If the moon is afflicted in this sign, there can be excessive preoccupation with inconsequential detail and a carping and critical attitude. Perfectionism about detail can blind these people to larger issues. For you Moon and Virgos out there. All right, so let's go ahead and get into these cards. Ooh, take care of my books, honey. All right, and so the Astrologer's Handbook, I think I got, this is pre-owned, okay? And this is what it looks like on the outside. It's Francis Sakorian and Louis S. Acker. Love that book. That's why you started hearing me say that I give Pluto and Mars to Aries. Mars is in Aries right now. It's getting ready to go retrograde, right? So I'm using the Druid Crafts Tarot. This is what the back looks like, and this is what the Knight of Wands looks like. So it gives you a very like pagan type of, medieval. I don't know if that's the same thing, but that's what I'm going with. And its companion deck, which is the Druid Animal Oracle. This is what the back of this looks like. I love that symbol. This is the frog. So that's new to me. So, I'm going to intuitively read those cards. Some of them I know, what they mean. And some of them, I haven't really had a chance to look at very closely yet. But I like them a lot. So let me go ahead and shuffle. So this is going to be a spread reading, not messages for individual signs. If an individual sign message comes through, that's wonderful. Learning from past mistakes, moving forward, feeling invigorated in some kind of way, but with the knowledge of what those mistakes meant, right? Not being like, yes, I'm ready. But you might just be like, okay, word, I know now. Next time will be different. Okay, I think I'm gonna shuffle one more time after this. Child, it took me a long time to do this video. Right? Right. Some of you all have some decisions to make about work. How you're gonna be continuing with that. Because the moon in Libra came up too. We're going to be having a new moon in Libra. The Queen of Cups just popped up. So this is talking about creating some emotional boundaries, right? Because you're sensitive, the heightened emotional sensitivity. The Queen of Cups is actually ruled by the moon. It's double water, okay? So this is definitely in your feelings about something, trying to heal from something, trying to create a healthy emotional boundary. Also, it's thinking about how to create a healthy environment, an emotionally positive, inspiring environment, Yeah. It's also being able to tell the difference between reality and what you might be imagining, right? So this is what we're thinking about. And we're trying to determine if we can trust something, but we're also not afraid, trying to not be afraid of what we don't know, right? Or what we can't control. Just because there's a snake in the grass here, right? But I feel like she's not really worried about it, or they're not really worried about it, just because they're creating a healthy boundary. So she almost got up away from the snake. What if the snake bit them? They could be healing, cleaning the wound. So cleansing some emotional wounds, right? We're dealing with that. Let me go ahead and put these cards back. The Fool kind of showed itself, right? Going further into your future, right? I'm going to shuffle one more time because I don't feel like that did it all. Being aware of maybe where you might have been getting in your own way before, right? With Cernunos, the Devil card. I like saying Cernunos. And then the Five of Wands here, which is Saturn in Leo, and this is Saturn as well. So there could have been some situations that you might have felt like you no longer needed to be involved in, or there could have been some competition, or there could have been some conflicting actions, or there just could have been like a need to pull away from drama, right? Because both of these are pretty dramatic. Some of us are starting to realize where we may have been getting involved in things because we were just going along with what we thought we should have been getting involved in with that Five of Wands. But it's kind of like now you're realizing a necessary evil with the Five of Wands, right? Where you may have been limiting yourself, or maybe where you might have been restricting yourself or getting in your own way just because of the way things have always been. Sometimes you have to pull away from a situation to be able to see it, right? And it's also asking you, what are you giving your energy to that doesn't deserve it, or just might be taking more of your energy away so that you can't do the things that you need to be doing, right? Like that type of thing. For sure. And I'm getting that, with this Virgo energy, right? With us being in Virgo season, it talks about creating healthy patterns, daily, right? Getting used to doing things daily. Yes? To strengthen your sense of motivation. Give value to motivation, right? Chop things up, maybe you don't have to do a super duper huge project. Maybe you can do smaller projects, and then it'll make you feel like you've gotten something done instead of feeling intimidated by things because they may not be, ideal. All right, let me go ahead and cut the deck because I haven't cut it yet. Let's look at the center card. The Wheel of Fortune, which is Jupiter. Okay, Jupiter is in Capricorn right now. If you are thinking in a Vedic sense, Jupiter would be just about to leave Sagittarius, or, around there. Anyway, with squares Virgo. But anyway, the Wheel of Fortune is talking about the responsibility to, make bigger plans, to have bigger aspirations, to make goals reality. That's what the Wheel of Fortune is talking about. Are you well positioned to make your goals a reality? And are you positioning yourself, right? Because Virgo talks about that too. Positioning yourself by doing things daily, creating those healthy patterns, like I said, healthy habits, and also being aware of your habits, right? And that's the thing. The Wheel of Fortune is also talking about, not letting things distract you or stop you from thinking bigger, right? Don't let the things that are difficult or challenging make you feel like you can't do them or you can't do something more just because something is challenging or something is hard. You know what I mean? It's the awareness that there's always, the possibility to level up, right? It's the Wheel of Fortune is about enjoying life too, right? Taking risks, okay? And also doing things for yourself, not because anyone told you to, but because you want to and because you can, right? That's the Wheel of Fortune as well. Because it is a 10, so it's related to the 10th house of Capricorn, which, sometimes it's like somebody telling you what to do. But this is like, don't tell me what to do. I know what I want to do. These are my goals. These are my aspirations. These are my dreams. And this is what makes me happy. So it's not being concerned with what makes someone else happy. It's being concerned with what makes you happy. Right? But not really, not affecting others. Not affecting others when you're going for your goal. Okay? 3 of Swords. Right. It could be like, it's relationships, first of all. It's relationship with friends, with siblings, with cousins, that type of thing. Right? Or it could be the relationships with parents, because it's Saturn. The 3 of Swords talks about pain in the mind and in the heart, okay? Pain in the mind and the heart. It also talks about the growth of knowledge, the growth of painful knowledge, information, right? My head and my heart have made a connection, and that connection has grown into, real knowledge about something, real information about something, real thoughts about something, scary thoughts, fearful thoughts, because Saturn evokes fear and intimidation. So a relationship could be intimidating right now for some of you all, or you could just be protecting yourself from a relationship that could be affecting you psychologically, mentally, restricting you in some kind of way. This could be like realizing that someone is trying to get in the way of your success, right? Or trying to prevent you from being seen or received in this way. Like someone is getting in the way of your happiness. You're allowing people to get in the way of your happiness. Like your relationships are creating mental blockages and mental struggles for you because it's like almost like something has been shown to you before over and over again, and the situation has grown. And the Wheel of Fortune talks about something getting out of control, but getting back into control. You know what I mean? Right? But the 3s are talking about growth and creativity. So something could be stifling your growth and your creativity, and it could be a relationship. For some of you, it could be a job, because it's Saturn. For some of you, it's the environment that you're in. Or this could be the place that you're coming from, because this is kind of like in a past position. So you're coming from this restrictive environment, right? And this is how you feel now that you've come out of that restrictive environment. And that could have been just in your house, you know. So now you're starting to come out, you know. Let's look at what's on the other side. King of Wands, there we go. So this is Leo energy. Related to the Four of Wands as well. So it could be Aries, right? And the King of Wands is Leo and 1/3 Cancer, right? We're thinking about protecting ourselves. The King of Wands talks about protecting yourself because, right, it's 1/3 Cancer. But then look at that shield. It's like, I'm protecting myself. I'm standing firm in what I believe and what I want and what I know. Because the kings are all air and their element. So this is kind of like this new sense of self-realization or self-assertion is giving you a sense of, or giving us a sense of strength, you know? This could be someone in your life, on a collective level. This is kind of like, a Jacob Blake kind of thing. But the King of Wands is also talking about defining yourself and mastering that definition of self. Right? What are you proud about? What do you like about yourself? And what prevents you from showing other people what you like about yourself? Or what is it that other people don't see about you that you like about yourself? Just be you. Also, the Three of Swords and the Wheel of Fortune and the King of Wands, it's almost kind of like someone may have demanded a lot of energy or a lot of attention. Someone could have demanded a lot of, I don't know, from you emotionally. And maybe not demanded, maybe they're just affected, right? In that kind of way. And the King of Wands also is someone that stands firm in what they want. So some of you might need to stand firm in what you want in regards to a fire sign or regards to a water sign. King of Wands is holding someone responsible or accountable, or he has to hold himself responsible or accountable for something. Yes. But the King of Wands is definitely a potent and demanding type of energy. Look at that. But, you know, the King of Wands also has mastered his energy. So that Cancer energy behind him of being emotionally reactive and it coming out of a place of maybe fear or a place of abandonment or rejection or whatever, because we did see the Queen of Cups come up, and the King of Wands is a progression from that, being like in sign energy, you know? So it's coming from that. So after you heal those emotional wounds, you put your guard down, but you haven't forgotten how you became this person that you are now in this very moment. The Wheel of Fortune, behind that is the Five of Pentacles, right? So this is a card of feeling left out in the cold. It's a card of realizing what you haven't physically manifested. This could be like with your body, what you feel like isn't happening there, what you feel like isn't happening in your financial sector, what you feel like isn't happening in terms of work. This could just be like us worrying about what we're able to produce, provide, you know. It's Mercury in Taurus. Mercury rules commerce. Mercury also is kind of like ruling duality. Eyes, hands. It's like nobody sees me, nobody's touching me, because Taurus rules sensuality as well. This is also like a closed mouth won't get fed, right? Because Mercury is communication, Taurus rules the throat. It's a 5, and it's talking about challenges, okay? Necessary evils. And Mercury is kind of like looking for something, searching for something. And this could be like approval. No longer looking for approval. I'm realizing where I was seeking approval. Validation. But not mentally. It is mentally, but then it's also physically too. So it's a card of feeling kind of alone or in solitude, complaining, or just thinking about what it is that you feel like has been taken, affected, damaged, you know? This could be also talking about something precious that was damaged physically, metaphorically, symbolically, because the 5s do talk about symbols, right? Symbols and metaphors that happen in life through challenges that we face, because we have to learn something through the challenges, through the adversity, right? So it could just be like not being able to take part in something, not being able to, feel accepted, that type of thing. But it's like you have to validate yourself. You have to have your own approval before you can have the approval of others, you know? So it's not about that. You're missing out on enjoying the fruits that life does have to offer you. Even in your times of anguish, there's still something to be gained out of life. You know? And it's almost like your problems are preventing you from living life in a a full, meaningful way. So you could be questioning the meaning of your hardship, or the meaning behind why what you were once committed to, or what you once relied on, is no longer as reliable as it once was. This could be a union, a marriage, a job, money. Some of you like, maybe your rent could be raised or something like that. Some of you may have misplaced something that was precious to you that you can't seem to find, right? And you're kind of like down about that. The Ace of Cups is here, which is talking about a new beginning, right? What are you receiving now? What was the lesson? What are you taking from that lesson? You know? And what are you acknowledging now? How do you feel? The Ace of Cups is a new opportunity to heal. A new feeling. Yeah? Definitely. Also, for some of you, something's going to come in and kind of remedy this Five of Pentacles energy. This could be something new in terms of a person. It could just be like tapping into your creative potential, right? Because once you get started, once you pop, you can't stop. Okay? Drink water, get sleep, be restful, meditate, listen to music, different kinds. Listen to music that doesn't have words. Be kind. Some of you need to listen to actual water. I do it all the time. That sort of helps cleanse my mind and cleanse my spirit. You know? So this Ace of Cups is also talking about that. And it's talking about the power of, you know, how just something being newly introduced into your life can change how you feel. You know, you have to kind of like be aware of your emotional state. And when you can acknowledge the emotional state you're in, then we can come up with a solution as to how we can go about processing them. Right? These are the emotions being processed. And as the emotions are being processed, it's cleansing everything around it that it touches. So your creativity, whatever it is, cleaning your house, making some food, baking a cake, painting a picture, drawing, playing music, literally or listening to it. You know? Some of you might even be thinking of getting a pet. Some of you could be experiencing new love. Let's see what's going on behind the King of Wands. Seven of Wands. Right. King of Wands is demanding, watching, right? Paying attention. And it's Leo. 1/3 Cancer. And then we have Mars in Leo here, which is the Seven of Wands, which is still related to the 7th house of relationships, which is Libra, but then it's also related to the Chariot, which is talking about movement forward, right? Reluctant to move forward. Some of you don't trust how, you have to be in a relationship. You're like, I don't want to have to be that way. Or the 7 of Wands could be saying that you're pushing through, your obstacles. And as you're doing it, you're being triggered. Right? And it's standing up for what you believe in, the 7 of Wands. Even though you might be being emotionally affected by it, you're still standing up for what you believe in. Even though you might be a little bit scared, you're still standing up for what you believe in. And this is all about you becoming stronger and you learning lessons, right? Don't be reluctant to keep moving forward, to keep being you, right? Expressing yourself passionately. You're learning. You'll be wiser from this experience, And the 7s are talking about victorious things, victory. It's sacred. So this is a sacred situation, sacred experience that you're going through right now. Because it's testing you. It's priming you. It's getting you ready for something. You can do this. If you're feeling like you can't, something is challenging you, or you feel like something is a loss, or you're at a loss, or if you feel like you're not, deserving, or you feel like you're not getting what you deserve. The 7 of Wands says you're on the right path. You're on the right track. Just take your time, right? With what you're doing. Be gentle with yourself as well. But the 7 of Wands is also talking about deep spiritual healing that comes from acting on your passions. Because if you don't do the things that you want to do, even if you're afraid of it, you're going to feel like you're deteriorating because you will not have acted. This is saying don't wait to act. The 7 of Wands. Be in the moment. Don't wait. Put your mind to it, go for it. Get down and break a sweat, rock and roll. You ain't seen nothing yet. Get down and go for it. Right? Put your mind to it, go for it. Yeah, definitely about taking risks. This is about taking risks. Don't be afraid about taking risks. This is about restricting yourself because of the fear of taking the risk. This is saying like now you're ready to, create the healthy boundaries that you need to in order to take the opportunistic risks that you need to in your life, because no one's going to do it for you. You've got to do it for yourself. And this is reiterating the fact that you want it, you got it, right? No longer will I be the one feeling like, I don't have the right to go about my life in a way that's fashioned for me, or, you know, I want to pursue my destiny with the Seven of Wands. This person ain't pursuing their destiny, right? This person is, I'm going to go off and do this on my own if I have to. I'm going to go off and do this on my own if I have to. And here. You know, it kind of has that feeling. But it's self-actualization, promise. Right? Promising something to yourself. That's kind of like that Wheel of Fortune too. Promising something to yourself. Alright, so I put the deck back together, right? The Wheel of Fortune at the top. Promising something to yourself. Opportunity for growth. In the Sun position, the Magician, it's talking about bringing focus to the power of your potential as, yes, Eight of Wands. You know, taking a risk, going for something that you haven't done before, not fearing it. Something is on the horizon, even if I have to go about it alone. You know what I mean? I'm going to do what I've been meaning to do this entire time. You know, this is Sag. This is Mercury in Sag. You know, not holding back on your creativity and your motivation. This is feeling motivated within yourself, right? The power of potential. The power of self-discovery. You know, the Eight of Wands is definitely a point of self-discovery that is transforming you emotionally. And also just all around, you know, inside. When I say emotionally, transforming in here, you know. The Death card is a 4 related to Cancer. Okay, in the past, Six of Swords, moving on from something that was bringing you mental conflict in the past, making you question yourself, who you were, what you knew, right? That type of thing. And it's also kind of like a science, putting two and two together, you know? What I've realized and what I've learned is that this is what I need to be doing. This is what I need to be moving towards, right? This is how I'm going to get out of life what I need to get out of life. Because it's related to the Lovers, which is talking about reciprocity. You know? And learning something, getting the information, going through an experience that taught you something is going to change your mind about where you thought you could go and where you thought you were going, you know? You have a new outlook. In the center of the reading, right, Four of Wands related to that King of Wands that came up before. This is a card of marriage, right? Venus and Aries. This is Venus being in her 7th house of relationships. So stability being brought back. But this is also feeling stable in oneself because it's related to the Emperor, right? And the King of Wands. Okay? So feeling emotionally secure within oneself. Right? So Venus is in a house of self, celebrating oneself, you know? And the emotional bond that you have with you. Or this could be the mom too, you know? Some of you could be just finding a new foundation, new strength with the relationship that you and your mother have, right? That's for some of you out there. Some of you are feeling better about going back to work. Future position, 5 of Cups, which talks about, you know, that's that necessary evil, right? Letting go of what you can't control, right? If you can't help somebody, then you can't help them. You just got to let them go through what it is that they got to go through, right? In the future. So this is some of you guys leaving your Marriage, this is some of you all leaving your job behind, or these are some things that are changing and adjusting. This is kind of like a separation. This also has to do with a death and an institutional sort of death, that type of thing, right? This is some of you being sad about school and not being able to go back to school and have that, right? Some of you are feeling just like, you know, lonely, emotionally lonely, right? And it's like with this Mars and Scorpio, this is resenting something, right? Feelings of resentment, feelings of loss, you know? It's almost like some of you feel like you have ruined something. This is also kind of like destruction with water. Mars. Aggression. Emotional aggression. Fear. Being forced to transform. The universe. God. This is unwanted change, unwanted transformation, but it's something that is definitely needed because it's necessary. Anxieties, hopes and fears. Three of Cups related to the Queen of Cups that came up earlier. This is, you know, an environment that is safe. An environment that allows you to be yourself, right? It's emotional growth as well. But it's good. You know, sometimes growth is painful. And emotional growth is painful too because you have to learn lessons that you didn't necessarily want to learn or didn't ask to learn, you know? Well, with the Three of Cups being here too, I feel like some of you might be thinking that people are saying things behind your back or are expressing, you know, how they feel about you to other people. The Three of Cups is also kind of like waiting for something to come around to a place of being better again. Because the Three of Cups is a positive energy, but it's in a place of like hoping that it's that. Hoping that you're happy again, or hoping that you experience just love again. It's like wanting to have an emotional connection that can't be torn apart. Because it has to do with time. So it's talking about time to heal as well. There needs to be time to heal because this three is related to all of the threes. The Empress, it's related to the Hanged Man, and it's related to the World. You know? Also, how are you spending, Mercury being commerce, your free time? What have you learned? right? Mercury and Cancer. Okay. It's also kind of like trying something new. You know what I mean? Experience like a change in environment. That's what you need to kind of like motivate you. Prince of Pentacles in the Mars position. So this is saying like whatever you're putting energy into to help change come along, it's moving slowly. The Prince of Pentacles is also someone that's coming from a place of, you know, it's coming from Leo, right? Prince of Pentacles is coming from Leo, which its motto is I can, right? So, planning slowly. This could be someone coming into your life slowly. Or this could be somebody approaching you slowly. Or this could be a job developing finally or slowly. But this is something that's very reliable. Being careful, dotting the I's, crossing the T's, making sure you don't miss a detail here, right? Taking your time with something. You know, don't beat yourself up about your progress, or that you're not working hard enough, you know. You are doing the best you can. Money's gonna start coming in for some of you. There's a Virgo that might be, you know, affecting you in your life some kind of way. I'm gonna move on from this. The Prince of Pentacles is like someone who's unsure about something. You know, they're a little reluctant to approach. It could be you, it could be another person. This could be the job that you're hoping to get. You feel like it's being a little bit slow. This also says you can trust the situation, whatever that means for you. Let me move on, because the Prince of Pentacles is getting on my nerves. The Queen of Swords is here in the Venus position, which is great because the Queen of Swords is Libra, okay? And the Queen of Swords is related to that Three of Swords that came up. So this is saying that be willing to face the truth about the way the relationships or the environment or how the environment is affecting you and what the environment might be making you think, you know? Queen of Swords is in her higher mind, but it's also someone that might be detached, you know, kind of like in their own concept of things, you know, and the Queen of Swords also is able to decipher truth from fiction, right? So you could be dealing with a Libra or you could be dealing with a Virgo, and there's a progression here. This is good. Because it's like the Prince of Pentacles was just kind of like, oh, you know, like I'd rather kind of like move slowly as to avoid anything shocking. And the Queen of Swords is like, you're not going to shock me. I'm objective. It doesn't have to affect me. So someone is choosing not to let a relationship affect them in a way that is bringing them some kind of like disorientation, maybe. You know, so it's like a relationship could be disorienting, you know. Or the Queen of Swords could be saying, like, you know, maybe you have to prove something. Because the Queen of Swords needs proof, being that it's coming from Virgo and is Libra. And it's referring back to the Three of Swords, which says you have proof because it's Saturn and Libra. And the proof has come into form through relational energy and being able to decipher what the relational energy is telling you. The knowledge that is being processed, or the information that is being processed after it's been received. But the Three of Swords talks about the information has been received in a cycle, right? Or the environment is communicating to you how you need to adapt, navigate, you know, go with the flow of the changes, which is related to detachment because it's the Queen of Swords and the Three of Swords. Let's look at what the last card is here. Right, definitely. Nine of Pentacles. Because so, right, there's this Queen of Swords. And the Nine of Pentacles is Venus and Virgo. So Venus and Virgo is talking about I knew this card was going to come up. It's talking about creating healthy boundaries between you and everything else that might be getting in the way of your goals. You know, this is almost saying I got everything I need. I have goals and I have aspirations. And what I have learned is that I don't need anyone else to validate me or to validate what my potential is. You know, it's also putting up a little bit of a guard, right? It's a soft boundary. It's like I can love you from afar because it's Venus and Virgo. It's like I have some things to take care of. I have some things to do. I have some responsibilities, you know. I've learned that I really need to apply myself in these ways that are going to afford me the things that I know I deserve. You know, it's being able to see your side of the situation. How is it benefiting me? If something, okay, bam, it turned over. If it's not benefiting me, then it's not for me, right? I know it is right for me. I know it is good for me. I know it is healthy for me. And let's look at what the challenge is over the Four of Wands, right? So the fours are talking about a sense of completion, right? Purification, stability. But then the Ten of Swords is talking about the Lord of Ruin. It's talking about the ending of something. So it's the ending of a cycle, right? The end of a cycle. The Ten of Swords talks about, you know, I have a responsibility to acknowledge the lessons that I've learned within this experience. And now that I'm at the end of this cycle, I don't have to learn that lesson again. I don't want to have to go back to things being the ways that they were before. You know, I'm adapting to this change. And it could be intimidating, right? I feel like mental exhaustion as well. So that's why this Four of Wands is here. It's protecting your energy. You know, there's a little bit of mental exhaustion here too. And that could be on a societal level, right? With everything that's happening. You know, some of you could have experienced a death, you know, for sure. And it could be like listening, hearing of people's death, right? You know, because there's degrees of separation. I know people that have actually died from COVID, and I know people who have relatives who have died, or co-workers, stuff like that. So everybody is experiencing some level of, you know, disorientation. Because it's like we're all going through something individually, but it's on a collective level, on a societal level. But we're realizing where we have kind of like let things get in our way, and let things get in our way because we were choosing to conform to a certain mindset that was being fed to us. And we're realizing what we might have been giving up in that process. Now we're looking towards, we're not wanting to give things up, right? Not giving up. Child, I hope this message is good for some of y'all. Let me go ahead and flip over these animal oracle cards, and that's gonna be it for tonight, because like, look at this. This reading is 1 hour and 10 minutes. I will definitely tell you to fast forward it maybe 10 minutes. Look, I'm telling you that right now, and it's like the end of the video. Let me stop. Y'all might have to watch this in parts. Alright, we're going to pull one animal oracle card, and that's going to be it. I've almost kind of like did 3 readings here. Ooh, child. Moving forward. Healthy mindset. New perspective. New goals on the horizon. You know, we're going into a new phase. It's a shift. The cat. Intuition, self-reliance, right? Endurance, survival. Okay? And it's also adapting to the environment and a sense of protection too. Psychic abilities, knowing what's going on, knowing when to sense what's happening around you, knowing what to stay clear away from, knowing how to access the things that you need to access, right? The cat is also talking about friendship in a way, right? Companionship. But also power, predation, going after what you want, navigating the environment, navigating the terrain with the feeling of lightness, right? Like you can handle this situation, you can handle any situation. Healing, because the cat has 9 lives, so it heals a lot. That's why the strength card is an 8, related to the 8th house of Scorpio, right? Let's see what this one is in the center. The wolf, right? That's a beautiful card. And the boar. So all of these animals here are, you know, have the ability to forge, survival, you know? And there's a keen sense. They know where to go, you know? They know where to find the things they need to find. The wolf is connected to the spirit of optimism, you know? Faith, strength, spiritual strength, mental strength. Being able to move on to the next, right? Flowing to the next. staying interested in being creative, you know, being motivated to move, to continue moving, not getting stuck. And taking it day by day, you know what I mean? Living in the moment, one day at a time, right? Not taking life too seriously. You know? Sometimes when we're in survival mode, we can take life very seriously. But look at what just happened accidentally. Don't take life so seriously. But also listen to your intuition, you know? Right? And when you learn to not take life so seriously, it makes the things that were otherwise difficult, challenging, hard to face, a little bit easier. Right? And look at all of that. Look at the happiness that comes from living in the moment, taking it day by day. All right, loves, thank you so much for being here and listening to this long-ass reading that I am about to post, and I'm going to wake up tomorrow and it's still going to be trying to post. Follow Teetsy on Instagram. That's where I got this hat. If you see me wearing any shirts that have something on the front here, I don't know. I'll let you know if I'm ever wearing a Teetsy shirt. But this is a Teetsy hat. Happy Pisces, second decanate, full moon in Pisces, obviously. And happy Virgo season. Happy Virgo new moon coming up on September 17th at 25 degrees of Virgo, which will be very Venus influenced, and Mercury as well. Yeah, like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram. It's Providence Tarot there. And my personal account is NYC Kendrick. If you like food, I have a food account. It's really good. The Tongue Pop. That's what it's called. It's on IG. Follow me there. And if you're in New York City and you want to get a reading from me on any day between Thursday and Sunday, I read at Shanti Bookshop and Crystal Gallery in Manhattan on 14th Street. The address is 230 East 14th Street between 2nd and 3rd Avenues. Okay? And if you'd like to book a reading with me, email providencetarotkendrick at gmail.com. Bye. Sorry it was so long, you guys.